Hey guys, it's Josh here and welcome back to another video. So in today's video we'll be building one of my all-time favorite houses from The Sims 3 in The Sims 4, and that is the Unabridged House. And one thing I'll say before we start though is that I'm very sorry that I haven't really been uploading for the past 2 weeks now, because I have had quite limited free time recently. And I have actually been spending the little free time I have working on a little custom content project, which I have been working on and off now for the past few months, which I am so excited about. I'm really excited to share more information very soon, because it may or may not be very close to being complete. But anyway, back to this build. When I first played Sunset Valley, I saw this house and my sim had to move here immediately because it was the most amazing house to me. And I did actually build this house once before at the very start of my channel, and that was way before we got terrain tools and way before we got like so many other packs and stuff, which make it so much easier now to work on a house like this. Because one of the main problems for building houses from previous titles in The Sims 4 was that there were just so many things that those games had in terms of building that you can't do in The Sims 4. So like, for example, there's this one starter house in Sunset Valley which I was thinking about putting into The Sims 4, like, or just for fun, like rebuilding it in The Sims 4, but I couldn't really do that because there was terrain things, there was like ponds and stuff, and there was also like this tiniest little thing that we don't have in Sims 4, which is deleting like the wall of a roof. You know how you could just delete a single tile off part of a roof and just have that as like a no wall section? Like, that's so simple, yet we can't do that in The Sims 4. Anyway, skipping ahead a little bit, since putting the roofs down in place of a foundation and getting it to look like The Sims 3 did take quite a while. I did have The Sims 3 open on my second monitor, so if you see my mouse going back and forth off the screen, then that's why, because I was scrolling around The Sims 3 looking at the house because I wanted to make this as accurate as possible, while also like adding my own stuff to it. So like the exterior pretty much is the same as Sims 3 because it's just iconic to me. Like, I could not bear to change too much about it. But the inside, for the most part, like the location of the furniture is the same, but I did like make it more my style, since I kind of want my Sims to live in here once I finish this house. So I did kind of like design it for my Sims, but in the end I did try and make it as like repurposable as possible. So like, I did keep the bedroom furniture to a minimum so your Sims could move in and change it up, or like completely renovate the room fairly easily without having to like change too much about the house. So like, I did keep everything fairly neutral. Like, there's no crazy colors really, to be honest. I did want to put some colors down, but in the end I decided to just keep it simple as well, because this is just a pretty simple EA house. Like, I did try and make it somewhat EA style as well, so like there's not really any over-the-top clutter, since I'm sure you'd know by now, at least in The Sims 3, or Sims 4 rather, is that like the houses that EA make for the game are pretty basic, so it's nothing too special. Like, to be honest though, like the houses in Sims 3, like for example this one, was fairly detailed for an EA house. The standards back then may have been higher. The basic house shape has been complete, so I think we're just about ready to move on into the interior now. And as always, we will start off with the kitchen. And one thing I didn't have the first time building this house in The Sims 3, or The Sims 4 rather, was we didn't really have a nice like modern looking counter that wasn't that base game one, since I honestly overused that one before Island Living came out, because it was just so simple and basic, and it had a lot of swatches as well. Some of them are fairly unusable, but it had a decent amount of swatches to cater for pretty much everything I wanted to build. So I pretty much always used that counter, that base game one. But now we've got these Island Living ones, and now that they finally have a matching island counter, I decided to use that. I think in the original Sims 3 build they had like a marble countertop, I forget now, but as I said, the furniture is in the same place. I did add those stools because they didn't have any stools in the actual house, but it looked like it should have, so I put some down. And I did put a big table down as well, and put a divider. I think I changed the position of the divider compared to the actual house in Sunset Valley, since it just looked a bit out of place to me. So I ended up moving it to the other window. I think it's covering a window, so I just swap it over to the other window, which is right nearby, but it's pretty much still in the same place. And with this living area, the house had a nice little coffee table, 2 little coffee tables in front of, or underneath the TV rather, and I tried to do that, but The Sims 4 have no tiny 1 tile wide coffee table. Like, why not? We do have one, but it's that glass one from Get to Work. Like, that was not the same, and we only have that option. Like, can we get some more low tables? Like, low tables in general. Like, we don't have any of them. We have like that one from I think Realm of Magic had one, but that's magic style that wouldn't suit this house at all. So it was a bit annoying, but I ended up putting cabinets there instead because, I mean, it looks okay, and as I said, I'm not trying to like replicate it 100%. I'm adding my own style to it at the same time. So pretty much the color scheme of the entire house is a bit different. I think the original color scheme in Sunset Valley was fairly colorful. There was, I think, one of the bathrooms was completely blue, and I did for a time intend to do that, but once I got to it, I couldn't really, there wasn't really any nice looking blue bathroom like things. Like the blue toilet looked really weird. So pretty much the bathtub, shower and toilet did have blue swatches, but none of them matched with each other. And then when I tried to make a blue counter, that didn't match either. So in the end, I think I just make it light brown, since I just turned it into a basic bathroom because it just was not working. I was going to try and keep it because I felt like it gave the house some character, and I wanted to try and stay true to the original house, at least a tiny bit for the interior, apart from the location of the furniture itself. But in the end, it just was not working, and I decided to change it to a bathroom that I'd personally build in my houses, because I've built my fair share of modern houses, so it's pretty much similar to all of those, because I just have an obsession with modern houses, since I just find them the easiest to build and the most fun to build as well. Like when I try and build a traditional style like cabin or something, it just takes me longer, it ends up looking odd, and it just takes me forever to like make it work. But in the end, this bathroom does become quite basic, and as you can see, I'm just like trying to make the blue work. I'm just trying to find nice blue colored tiles and matching stuff, and like I just tried the dark blue as well, but that did not work at all, and I was just like, yeah, this is not going to work. Like, as I said, like none of the counters match and none of the toilets matched either. Like, yeah, it was not going to work. But I did keep the black bathroom though. So yeah, the original house did have the main bathroom be all black, and I think that looked pretty decent. Like, I think the bathroom is basically the same as the original one I built in the previous Sims 4 Unabridged House that I made quite some time ago with no terrain tools and no many other things, because that was old. But anyway, moving on into the bedrooms now. I think I didn't really finish the bathrooms before moving on into the bedrooms, so we will go back and finish that in the end. And as you can see, I paused for a little bit since I was looking at Sims 3, checking out the bedroom, and the bedrooms in this house were actually very empty, so I did try and add a little bit more to it, but I did just at the same time try and keep it somewhat empty as well, to try and keep true to the spirit of EA houses of Sims 3, which was, it was somewhat empty, but not to the point that it becomes a Sims 4 EA house that it's basically completely empty and has doors or has staircases to nowhere. But anyway, I was going to try and put a really big colorful rug in here, but I think I'd end up picking the white rug. I think that one's from Moschino stuff, but I did bring the color in with these nice little coastal photos, which look pretty cool. I've never actually gotten my sim to take any of them before. Like, I know those are the ones that you get from like diving and stuff, I'm pretty sure, but my sim hasn't gotten any of those yet. And this is meant to be a coastal house as well. The only reason why this house is in Brindleton Bay is because Brindleton Bay, interestingly enough, is the only world that has 40 by 40 lots, which is what this house is built on in The Sims 3. So I think this is the same lot as the last time I built this house as well. So yeah, pretty much the same house. And one thing I do remember from the previous remake of this house that I did was that this secondary bedroom right here was this really purple teen style bedroom, which I think looking back at it now was kind of a weird choice. So I think, yeah, basically for this bedroom, I do just keep it very simple and keep it a lot more closer to the original. So there was a desk and a dresser on this wall. The bed was where it is right now. And I do just add a few more things here and there. I think there was a telescope, I believe, in this room. And yeah, I was not going to put that giant telescope that The Sims 4 has in this house because no, like honestly, why does The Sims 3 not have why does The Sims 4 not have a basic telescope? I know there's a mod for that. I do just put a keyboard down instead, just so your Sims can at least do some kind of skill building there, since telescope is meant to increase your logic skill somehow. And also in this little corridor section, there was a desk and there was just a simple desk basically with I don't think it had a computer on it, but I put a computer on it. And then I just put some bookshelves in the little corridor area as well, just to fill up some space, because it was going to end up being pretty empty if I didn't. And I think it looks pretty nice with the Moschino bookshelves on either side, and the color scheme, it like matched pretty well as well. Like that's what I'm being happy with quite recently, is the fact that most of the new objects that we've been getting match fairly well with one another, because it's always nice to be able to match content from another pack with content from a different pack, because that was one problem I had with the original stuff, was that like, well, the older packs is that some of the stuff that we got never matched with the current stuff that we already have. So it's like, I can't really use this unless I use it with the stuff from the same pack. But like, if we look at Island Living and Moschino, they match fairly seamlessly with existing furniture, which is really nice. Especially, I love these floorboards. These floorboards came with Island Living, and they're just so good looking. Like, this is very coastal. Although this house technically isn't in a coastal location in Brindleton Bay, but I think there's a 40x40 lot where the Delgatos live, so if you wanted to move this into an actual coastal location, you could move it up to there. But then again, that's like not even the kind of, it's not really similar to the location it is in The Sims 3, because The Sims 3's version of this house, the original, it's kind of like right on the beachfront. But if you put it at the Delgatos, it's kind of like on a cliff. Anyway, I'm actually really happy with how this little corridor area turned out. I just love the cats and dogs paintings that I used in that little corridor area, because if you haven't noticed, I pretty much use them in every modern build, since I love how it looks when you like space them out like that. But I just kind of loved how that looked. I was gonna try something interesting with the staircase, but that wasn't really working out quite well. And I don't know, I just really dislike how the wall just kind of like goes in a little bit where the stair is. Like, couldn't it just be a seamless transition? It was really annoying. I was trying to like cover it up with like a painting or something, that was not working, so I ended up just using a column. It ends up looking kind of strange, but I make it work in the end by putting an archway to the little corridor area, because it's just kind of more convenient that way, I guess, for your Sims, because if they walk into the house and just want to go to the bedroom, they don't have to walk around the staircase, they could just walk in the archway. The original house didn't have that. I think the original house basically had some kind of weird sculpture in the entrance area, which I wasn't really liking that much, to be honest. I think that was like the first thing I always deleted when my Sim moved there. So I didn't do that for this house, and instead I put an archway and made the space a lot more functional, I guess. And I think I did shift the location of the oven and the sink, because I wanted to have just some kind of, I just wanted to open the space up a little bit more, and having that like random wall behind the stove just kind of looked really odd when I was trying to like make the house feel a lot more open. So I just switched the locations up and put a makeshift little counter thing. I think if you wanted to, you could replace it with an actual counter and have Sims actually use it, but we already had some on the other side of the kitchen, so I didn't want to like make it so that when your family calls your Sims to meal, they all just sit on the counter, and I just kind of want them to move on to the regular dining table area, because I'm pretty sure if you call to meal and if there's a lot of people around, they won't just sit at the counter, and they will actually go and find the spot that they can all sit at. That's what I'm hoping that it's like. I'm pretty sure that's how it works, because even though my Sims kitchens usually have counters on them with stools, they normally don't go sit there, they usually go straight to the dining table. when I called a meal. But anyway, we are just working on some of the decorations now that the basic furniture has been placed, and pretty much outside it's the same as the original apart from a few more plants here and there because we have a lot more plant options, I guess, than compared to Sims 3. Like, I think the Sims 4 has so much more furniture now compared to Sims 3, even with all the packs, since there's just like, obviously because Sims 3 had creator style, they didn't really have to give you so much more furniture because you can pretty much make it match no matter what, so you can just stick with the kind of furniture that you like and just recolor it to whatever you wanted to right in game because it just makes it so much easier. But for the Sims 4, you can't do that, so obviously we have to keep getting new objects to get new colors for, I guess, or to get new styles since we can't really create our own style. I think we're pretty much done in the interiors. Obviously it's still a little bit empty, but that's because once I finish the build I usually just like come back the next day and put more clutter in it because I did this house over 2 days, and even once I thought I finished it, I decided to put more clutter down. So in the screenshots that do come up at the end, that will be of the completely finished house, so there will be a bit more clutter here and there because I did leave out some spots when I was cluttering this house up because I was just trying to get it done and it was getting pretty late, so I think I just like stopped recording and I just like went to sleep or something. But anyway, I think yeah, we're pretty much done in the interiors almost. There's just a few more things to happen and then we'll go outside, which as I said is pretty much the same apart from some more plants, but I do put some rocks down as well, and I was gonna like change up the driveway since it looked pretty odd. In the Sims 3 it looked nice, but in the Sims 4 it kind of looked a little bit strange to have this giant tiled area that's got nothing on it. I do put the debug cars down, but even then it kind of looked a bit odd because there's not really any real reason to have that, like since your Sims can't actually drive or put a car down, so it was just a bit strange. And also another thing that we didn't have when I last built this house was lounge chairs. Like, I love how we got, like, I'm so happy that we finally got lounge chairs in The Sims 4 with that update with Island Living. Like, that was amazing. A tiny little addition that I love so much. Like, and we got a new one with the free update as well. Like the most recent free update we got added another one that's a lot more of what I expected, because not gonna lie, I was slightly disappointed with that free one that we got. That was like that plastic portable one. Like, it was nice. I'm glad that we got it. It just looked a bit odd and it wasn't really usable for me, at least, because it was really cheap looking, which I think was the thing that they were trying to go for, that look, and then add all the luxury ones in Island Living. But I'm glad that they added like a nice, like kind of average one in a free update, because that portable one was not going to work. And to be honest, the Island Living ones were kind of like a bit too bulky for this because the original house in Sims 3 had a really simple basic lounge chair, and the ones from Island Living are they're pretty luxury looking, because obviously it's like a beach. Well, to be honest, it wouldn't have broken the style, but it just would have been more luxury than the original house, because I didn't want to make this like a super luxury house, even though the original was a pretty nice. It wasn't like bad, but it was just like not over the top luxury. Like, having a beachfront house in itself is luxury, and I didn't want to go too much further than that. But anyway, since the only thing left to do now is just the exterior landscaping, I think I'll just leave you guys off here. There will be screenshots at the end of this, so if you're interested in seeing how the clutter turns out, stay tuned. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye guys.